Look at those guns. And I mean it, she actually carries two pistols. Hi, I'm Mark, and this is Subliteral Network. I make art and comics, and thanks for watching. Remember to hit like and subscribe, and to leave your feedback in the comments. I post art daily, 5 days a week on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and this is a roundup of that work in case you missed it, with a little more detailed description added. You can read my Una the Cape Bunny comics free at radiocomics.com, and please visit my Patreon page if you'd like to support my work. All these links are in my description and bio, and please watch till the end so you don't miss anything. So, the Man-Thing and sorceress Jennifer Kale on charcoal paper with black charcoal and white charcoal. So part of the reason I think I keep coming back to these two, they were in Marvel Comics in the 70s when Marvel was doing horror comics, and there's just something about the horrible monster and the beautiful girl that just the contrast, you can get a lot of great pictures out of it. So I keep coming back to these two, often I think just for that reason. I have really stopped doing charcoal drawings like this, even though I still work on halftone paper. For some reason I just kind of opted out. Drawing in charcoal on charcoal paper is really kind of an art school thing. You see it more in life drawing and stuff that art students do, when you don't see it much in illustration like you used to, and it's just sort of fallen out of favor in that regard. But it's real easy to kind of get a handle on and to get very satisfying results without having to really be particularly very good at it. You can get such soft edges that you can just kind of flub over mistakes and complicated parts and focus on things like atmosphere and lighting. So there's an ease of entry into it, but you can get as good and sophisticated at it as you want to. I mean, I haven't, but I still kind of like the results that I can get with it relatively easily. Now, for my Patreon supporters, I offer a monthly PC and phone wallpaper, and this is the one that I just put up. I call her Lady 38, and she's kind of just in the model of a lot of the 30s pulp heroines. They went around in a domino mask and evening dress, and usually carried a couple of 38 guns. So this was kind of my first shot really at drawing just one of these 30s heroines, plunging neckline, dressed to the nines, and going around shooting criminals and fighting gangs and stuff. That kind of stuff is kind of fun. It was a fantasy of its era, but I think it has staying power for some reason. Just the combination of everything. Since I started following Art Adams on Instagram, who was well, if you don't know who he is, he's a very famous comic book artist. He's kind of a fan favorite. Drew a lot of X-Men comics and stuff in years past. And he always, one thing I noticed, he shows a lot of his works in progress. One thing he always does, he never fails to do this, is to put a full perspective grid whenever he's drawing something that requires it. It's incredibly detailed, a really dense grid that he's drawing on. I said, people think he's such a great artist, and there's a reason for that. He really puts the work in and gets fantastic results. He's not faking it. He's not sloughing off. He's not being lazy. He's doing the real work, and a ton of his greatness just stems from that. His work is always correct looking. So I'm of the camp that perspective grids are your friend. If you screw it up, people always see it. If you don't, they hardly notice it at all, but that's probably just the best thing. You want to insinuate your work into someone's brain. You don't want them looking at it and picking out your mistakes. By now, I must have drawn dozens of these Robo Girls in Sharpie. After you draw a few of them, or after I draw a few of them, I started warming up, and I started getting really just sort of interesting with the interpretation and the design. So instead of going for like a straight metal robot or like a human-like imitation, like a simulated human, I started combining all these mechanical and kind of organic looks, and I started really having fun with it and really creating things that are kind of really halfway human or halfway robot, and I wanted a more obvious combination of the two. And this one is one of my favorites for a lot of reasons, because see, she has that little drone floating up above her head. It's like a bee or a bird, and she kind of gains a lot of information from this remote device that's connected to her system. So I thought of her hair as not specifically hair, but more like a solar collector, and she gets energy from that, and it just sort of is really, it's a giant boob robot girl, but it's also kind of a think piece for me where I'm trying to just sort of solve problems or create a different kind of combination between mechanical and or organic life.